Salute.
Rose, you want to transition us to the next topic?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it. Yeah, so basically what the discussion will be is one of our supporters that hit me up and was like, we should discuss this topic. And the topic is, do we feel that rap music has a major influence on this generation compared to previous generations? So
short and sweet answer for me for right now, then we'll go deep into it. I would say yes, because of social media and the internet. I would say they have more of an influence than it was in the past. When I was growing up, as in my younger years, listening to music, it was just basically you had to be home at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, listen to, Rap City the Basement. You had to catch before it was Rap City the Basement, you had to catch I forget what they call it. However, it was you had your rap videos. They just strictly showed rap videos from 3 to 4 or from 4 to 5. Nah, before 106.
Miss Cedar. I can't remember the
even
name.
Before
Miss Cedar.
Even before Miss Cedar. You had BET Play just gave you an hour block from 3 to 4 where they was playing nothing but rap songs. This before Miss Cedar, before The Basement and all that. And then you had Dr. Dre, Ed Lover with your MTV Raps that came on Friday nights. Outside of that, man, you had to just go to the record store and take a chance on who the hot artist was and catch it on the radio. Outside of their raps and their lyrics and their videos, you didn't pretty much hear from them unless you went out and bought the magazines and you wouldn't read about, the stuff they doing, this, that, and the other. And that was it. I think it does have a little bit more influence today because they're more accessible. You can follow them, see what their day-to-day is. You can reach out and touch them. And like we said on our internet episode, it'd be a lot of flogging on the Instagrams and Facebooks. So
he said short and sweet, and he went into a whole salute.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Hey, because I was just about to say, well, thank you, Flake, for your input.
The most of was trying to think about what their rap show was from 3 to 4 when I got out of school.
We used to get off the bus and but go ahead, Spears. What's your thoughts on it, man?
Okay, so can you ask the question one more time so I can make sure I have the correct answer for it? Because I heard something that Flake said, but I don't know if that was really the question that you asked. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, so the question is do we feel that rap music has a major influence on this generation?
So this generation being
the younger kids
after us?
Yeah, or well, almost a mix. So yeah. We'll just go with the younger kids. Is it more impressionable? Is it that much of a difference between how we listen to music and they listen to music? I'll put it that way. I'm 30, you all are mid-30s up to, Flake, we ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's a difference. You all heard a different genre of music, a different way of going about it. Do you think that rap has more of an impact on like the morale or core values of like the kids nowadays? Like, do you think they just
the high school? The high school and college kids.
Yeah, high school, middle school, how we start sneaking and listening to rap, like, is it more of an impact now?
I would say not more of an impact. I would say the impact would be the same for me. I would say there is more access to certain things, to Flake's point, but I wouldn't say it's more of an impact because when we was coming up, we was all trying to be like or emulate or get some of the things that our favorite rappers had at that time, whether it was Biggie and, Cool G. Cool G was big then, rocking Jabot jeans and all this other stuff. Whether it was Pac with the bandanas and, trying to be a gangster or a thug life type stuff. Whether it was, Wu-Tang and all of this and everything from Outkast to, Jeezy and T.I. even when they first came out, trap stuff and everything. So, I wouldn't say that it has more of an impact than any other time in life, but I will say it's more access to it. And so because the evolution of the world and technology. You got laptops, you got social media, you got smartphones and all of this stuff. It is more access, but I don't think it has more of an impact, because I still think, you know, people was trying to be like Slick Rick even back in the 70s and 80s and all that. You know, people was trying to be like Heavy D and all those rappers. So LL Cool J, and you know, the list goes on. So I don't think that, again, it has more of an impact for me. I don't think so.
That's real. So since everybody's giving that whole thing, I would go with, I think it's yes, but it's like from two different perspectives. I don't have kids, but I would say that I think the difference is now is, from what I've seen, is that the parents listen to the music that they listen to now amongst their kids way different from how it was when I was growing up. Like, if it was even a song or even something that's on TV, but just keep it on that. Like, if it's a song that was nasty, turn that off. Like, you couldn't listen to that, or really had to sneak into grandma's house. And if she came in there and it's BNT uncut, I'm turning it back to Flake Dreamcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't watch nothing that was considered as explicit or mature for that. And I think the blend of parents actually saying, I'd rather them do it with me, led to it being like more accessible to them. Of course, the internet, I think that's almost a given in this time. But then the second part for me is, we imitated you. We could have got a couple ounces of weed, bro. We thought we was Big Meats that Jeezy done got it. I was talking about, you feel me? Now, but these young cats are hearing, you know, the people representing from Old Block and this hood, this whole spinning and killing. You heard people talk about how they would protect themselves, but now it's almost turned into like a sport. And so now they're not just imitating and they're playing, you know, cops and robbers. They real deal hitting the blocks and putting what's supposed to be art into actual actions. Where I think, and it's crazy, but I'd rather to see hustlers than killers. You feel me? So I think that that's where it's turned to crazy turn, to where it's out of control, is because once you get that, and like, you know how it is, like a dog, once you finally taste blood, it ain't really too much a grown-up can tell you if you feel like that's what made you in the streets. And that's what's making the youth be so vaccinated with this lifestyle. It's like everybody playing Grand Theft Auto. But you know, it ain't no cheat code, and you don't come to the hospital and be able to come back. So for me, I feel like it's just being in the cusp between being around Flake and how, you know, parenting was then, and then me being 30 and seeing how it is now. I think those are the blends of what I've seen, is that the difference between the generations is not just the accessibility, but the influence that the parents are having on the kids, following what they listen to, because they're not turning it off like our elders did when we came around, until they knew you was just pretty much exposed to it.
And I would semi disagree, just because I get the point and the premise, but I also think that, to your example and point, them kids in O Block, them young men in O Block are really living that life. So without the rap, they gotta do what they gotta do, and they gotta get it out the mud and survive, and that they really killers. The people on, you know, and off of Slauson and Crenshaw, you know, in Watts, and the people in, you know, Flatbush or Queens, or the people in Oak Cliff, the people in Third Ward, Dallas, Sunnyside, you know, Houston, and all that other stuff. You know, I believe they're living the life that historically and systemically that America set up. And the thing that is easier now is it's easier to get a bag. So because they're telling the story through art, as you said, of their life, it's easier to get a bag. And then you know that the head people of them things are going to exploit us. They're going, you know, try to, just exploit us and try to get a dollar off of us, and then also allow the story that we've been telling since the beginning of time, some rappers, about death, getting females, you know, doing all that other stuff. And the story hasn't changed at all, but the accessibility has. But again, I think it's more of a socioeconomic disparity and issue versus a music industry issue for me.
I definitely agree with you on that. But when you think about the kids in any hood, I ain't gonna put no emphasis on because it don't matter where you at, it's just how you coming. When you put it in music, I think it's a difference between when you're just telling a story until when you're glorifying what you've actually been through. So like to survive and make it out is everybody's goal. You feel me? But to say, oh man, I really went to Spirit Block and blah, 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 that ain't really it. It's almost like when I think about like old Jada Kiss and they're speaking about how they made it up out those situations. To me, these younger kids now aren't just talking about these past events. These people are talking about what they're going to do that hasn't happened. So it's almost like this imagination for this kid that ain't even around no thugs like that. Now you latch on to this and now you're trying to act like the ones that's from those hoods where that's the only way you can survive. So it's like you're glorifying something that you might not even have to do, but it's so impressionable and everybody thinks it's so cool. Now we have everybody that's from every little that ain't even like that. You could be somewhere in Katy that's real nice, but you want to be this. Like this, just the over glorifying is what I think is just plaguing them because you can't really tell the difference between the ones that's really living like that, or this is just somebody that was just rapping in the basement. Mom couldn't even hear him rapping, and now he's a rapper, influencing some kid that shouldn't even be thinking about toting no gun or putting on no red or blue or orange or black bandana. Like that's where it comes to. It's like if you're glorifying it, completely different from just telling how you made it out.
Yeah, and I agree that to some point, especially just because now everybody chasing like this clout. So let me put out a rap song that's gonna give me some numbers, some likes. Let me embarrass this crew. Let me embarrass that crew. Whatever we did, I ain't even caring about really the music. I'm just trying to get a quick song, probably make a bag out of it, and then tell my story about how I'm finna embarrass this crew. And basically, what it boils down to is you got more people in the music industry these days because it's easier to get on. You don't need a label to get on anymore, which is a good thing, and it's also a bad thing because you can be the most trash rapper ever, but if you put out that one song that that sounds crazy enough, people gonna jump onto it and be like, "Oh, you hear about what he said about woo woo and said about this crew and said about this clique." Then you ain't even listening for the goodness of the song. You listening to it because of what was being said on there and what was being glorified or whatnot. When you got and these rappers are really young. That's why I get to thinking. Even though we had a bunch of young rappers in our day, but it was kind of like their first album is gonna be maybe the first two albums gonna be like I'm gonna tell you how I got out, and then after that is I'm moving from that into basically talk about where I'm at this time and day and how people once they get to this level they can make more money or be constructed net. Some of these kids ain't even getting to the no second or third album around or this, that, and another. Like I said, I don't think it's most of them that are out is not really about the art of music itself. It's just let's go out here and embarrass this crew. Let's talk about who we done killed. Let's snitch on ourselves. Let's snitch on our homeboy. Even though we say we ain't snitching, but listen to the song. I had on a dark mask on a Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Rolled up on Lil Kiki, pulled out the strap, upped it on him, and Lil Kiki been dead for the last 2 weeks. All right, so we know what's been going on. So, but yeah, you can reach any kid now. It used to be when I was coming up, you had to be a certain age to buy. If you had the parental advisory stick on it, you had to be a certain age to go in and buy that, or you had to know somebody at your high school or whatever that had that album and you could dub it, burn the CD or whatever it is. In today's time, shoot, any kid that got an iPhone can put iTunes on and pull it up, or they can download SoundCloud for free or Spotify for free and just let it roll and come up on plenty of artists that that unplug their music there. So I mean, it's hard to say it's not having a huge influence on some of the youth, because you can tell by the YouTube views. Some of these rappers, I ain't gonna say no names, but it's getting